What's up, guys? I'm here with Steve from Alpha Antenna. We've been nerding out about antennas for longer than we should, but he's got some really cool stuff. So he is going to show us all the different antennas he's got. And we got one special thing for you. Justin Mann, you emailed me a question, and we've got a solution for you. So check this stuff out.
So for Justin Mann or anyone else out there who's visually impaired, we now have something for magnetic loops that pick up the RF, and it will tone out so you can hear when you have tuned your mag loop. You just take it, put it on your mag loop, and once you tune that, it will beep when it is tuned. If you'd rather use this little inexpensive thing than an analyzer, you've got it right there on the loop. Tune it till you hear the beep, and you're done tuning.
Yep.
Over here.
So what he's describing, let's back up. So on a mag loop, his question was, as a completely blind ham, what can I do to do parks on the air? And I'm racking my brain, and we're just sitting, Steve and I are just sitting here talking, and he's like, I have this thing. So the mag loop, on the bottom of this little box, there's a tuning knob, and basically you're going to connect your antenna, or you're going to connect your radio to the antenna, key up, and you're going to turn this knob on the bottom of the box, and the SWR meter is going to make an audible noise when you are resonant, basically. Is that the gist of it?
Pretty much right. Now, if you are not visually impaired, one of the things that you can do is you can simply connect your radio, and we'll go ahead and plug in a little bit of power so we know we have power. This is a transceiver here. You can flip it on. Over here is the noise floor, and it's tuned because you have a loud noise floor. And here, as you move it to the left, it's not tuned. So it's that easy. You can tune it just by moving the knob here, and the noise floor will go up, and you're tuned.
Yep.
If you were blind, you would need another method for doing this. So you would push the transmit button, and as it's transmitting, you can listen for this to beep, and you will find that it does beep once the power's ERP on the antenna reaches it.
So it's just going to be a solid beep, or is it a quieter beep as it gets more resonant, it gets louder, or what?
So it will have a beep, 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 beep when it's a little less resonant, and then a solid beep once it's finally resonant.
Okay.
And you can use this with any magnetic loop antenna. It doesn't matter who makes them. And it's very, very light. When I first gave it to Mike, he just, whoa!
It weighs like a gram.
Yeah, it's tiny, it's so small and so light. There's a board inside that converts RF energy to DC power.
So no battery or anything. It's
no
just
power. All off the RF in the air.
That's amazing.
So that's one of the new things that we've created. More traditional, we have an off-center fed dipole. Well, it's a vertical, but in the center is the balun. With this, we have the grounded counterpoise, and then the other half of the antenna being the 25-foot NBUS and the vertical.
Okay.
It's tuner-free because it's an off-center fed dipole.
Okay.
If you know what that is, it's tuned for the ham bands where you get the narrow dip. Then out of the ham bands, it's a larger, like umbrella look. If you're non-technical, that's what it looks like on a scan. And it packs up to be in this little bag with the tripod.
With that tripod?
With that tripod.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it all fits in this tiny little bag. So for, again, POTA, or if you don't want to go over and retune the antenna, again, if you're sight impaired, it's pre-tuned. There's another alternative solution.
Okay.
Now, if you want to ask the question, okay, what's something that'll maximize my efficiency? Well, that's going to be still yet a magnetic loop. It'll make your received noise floor very quiet because that's what it does. That's what magnetic loops are designed to do. We went one step farther.
You've got a lot of cool stuff in this loop we were talking yesterday about.
I know, it's fun to create.
Yeah.
And one of the creations that we came up with, nobody else does this because it is really hard to do, and in production it takes a long time, so it's expensive. On the center loop, we use only the center conductor, inside the center conductor, and we trim back the braid on both sides so that the braid acts as a shielded Faraday on the center conductor on that pickup loop. This makes this very quiet no matter really what the RFI is in the environment.
Yeah.
Another question is, does it have a null in the middle of this antenna? Well, it has an 8-degree null. So that 8-degree null, you start to hear it going, and then in the center, about a 3-degree null is really all you have. It's great because you can point that null at a generator. If you have a noise source that's causing you some type of RFI, you can even null that out. You have another operating station at field day, point the null at it. You won't hear their antenna, they won't hear your antenna.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool for all that. We make our own knob on the bottom, which is huge.
And I want to add, this is so smooth. It's like butter. I was playing with it yesterday, and we were messing around with this. This is just quality. But all right, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
I really like this antenna.
We've put a lot of time and effort into making sure that it has at least a Drake quality feel when you do the tuning.
Yeah.
And some even say it's beyond even what that rig had. Now, it will fit in this little tiny bag here as well. And it's enough room in there to put most rigs as well.
Yeah.
And deployment, 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Deployment on the other system that we just looked at, about 60 seconds.
Okay.
And this is 100 watts on 10 through 40.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for that, it's been designed in a way that really, I'll just say it, it's superior than anything else I've ever seen.
Sure.
And that's why it handles 100 watts.
Yeah.
If others had designed theirs correctly, theirs would handle more ERP. But their capacitors are flashing over because they're not designed right.
Yeah.
So,
and other loops, I think, are like 25 watts, maybe, kind of max that you can probably put into them on sideband.
Yeah, typically you'll see those are nowhere near even 70 or 50 watts.
Yeah.
If there were some 50-watt loops, you compare a 50 watts output to 100 watts, you just gained a full S unit on that receiver at the remote station.
Yeah.
We can go even more efficient than that if you want.
Well, hang on, one more thing, because we missed something.
What
you
happened?
were just telling me, getting back to the blind hams.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing with the next gen of this loop?
Well,
is that something we want to talk about yet, or
so this is an exclusive, if you will. First time it's ever been mentioned, and this will be in Braille.
Yeah.
Where there's a tuning knob in the center, and there will be Braille for every band. As the blind hand moves the knob, there will be a pointer that goes on Braille from one side to the other.
That's awesome.
It's on a pre-release basis right now, and we've just now activated it on our site. You go to alphaantenna.com, portable antennas, and underneath that there's mag loops. You can see the faceplate and all the tuning for the blind hams at that point. It still has all the visual things for the visual hams as well. And so we're doing that as a separate model, and it will still have this loop as well. So we'll actually have two models of magnetic loops,
That's
not
awesome.
to confuse the two.
Yeah, okay, so two separate models.
Two separate models.
And that's so cool that you're even thinking about that, because a lot of vendors, the radios will have a speech, but I've never heard of an antenna, and it's just perfect timing that I got this email, and you and I started chatting, and
meant to be.
There's the answer. So, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to know about the loop here?
No, that's it for this loop,
okay.
really.
But wait, there's more.
Well, wait, there's more. Up here at the top of our booth, I have mounted a full-size dipole. Now, this full-size dipole is a full resonantly sized dipole. There's no inductors, no coils. It'll take legal limit on digital, FM, all modes, full legal limit.
Oh, look at that. We have one down here.
We do have one down here, but I wanted to show everyone, it actually fits in this little bag. So this antenna system that deploys to be a full-size 40-meter antenna can fit in this bag.
Yeah.
The antenna system itself that I do have out here is for 440 megahertz through 7 megahertz. Okay,
really?
I'll pause there for a second. Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second.
440 megahertz through 7 megahertz.
Wow.
It can be deployed as a dipole, but notice it's a V dipole, which changes the impedance. Previously, when dipoles are flat, you have about 72 and a half ohms, but in a V dipole configuration, it's now 50 ohms.
Yeah.
That means that feed point is 50 ohms. There are no coils necessary or
Yeah.
or ballons to change it to be 72 to 50 ohms. This is nearly a perfect design. So we went one step further. And now this dipole, if you take an element off, move the other element to this position, you'll notice what it says. Vertical.
Let me get a little focus on. Okay.
That's where that vertical
really?
deployment can now be. And
Okay.
if I move it this way, you'll see here, that's where the counterpoise goes.
Look at that.
So now if we zoom back out, one of the elements moved to the vertical position, gives you your DX with the counterpoise. The dipole can give you both your NVIS and DX. 2 meters, 440, 220 megahertz, 6 meters through 40 meters.
That's crazy.
These elements will, and so just full information on it now, these elements will extend to 17 feet 9 inches.
Okay. A little bit longer than your typical.
A little bit longer
kinda
than a dipole.
17-foot.
Yeah, why is that? Because it can also be a Yagi.
Ah, yes.
And the reflector needs to be a little longer on 20 meters than your resonant length on 20 meters, 10% longer,
Yeah.
which these will do. So how do you do 40 meters? There's a corona ball on this whip. The corona ball is
Yeah,
where
that's
you
not gonna
place
focus.
a clip. That
Yeah, okay.
clip has a wire that pulls out to make it 40 meters. And so on 40 meters, you have an M dipole. And you're done. This antenna fits in that bag, and one less thing to do is carry all that heavy equipment for all of those bands.
Yeah.
2 meters, 440, excellent for Japan.
So what would be the
and
most
all.
kind of quickest and efficient way to, how are we getting this up in the air, I guess is the question.
All right, so here's how to do that. So we do include with this antenna a mount for just a mast, where you can install it on a mast. But we're famous for tripods, right? So we have this tripod over on this side of the booth. This tripod has eagle talons on the feet.
Okay.
These feet have, you pull the little rubber face off, and there's a spike. Put your boot in, and that'll go into the ground.
Okay.
All 3 feet gives you about 50 mile an hour rating.
Really?
Yeah, for most of our
Wow.
antennas. Up on the top of this, there is a 3/8 24 bolt.
Okay.
That 3/8 24 bolt right there is what this 3/8 24 hardware installs into.
Okay.
So that goes on this tripod. Just like all of our other antenna systems.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
a lot of people that just buy this tripod for other people's antennas because it is the best tripod that's ever been created, bar none. It's $150, which is a steal.
That's not
Of a
bad.
price. Yeah, for that, it's a steal. That
That's not
antenna
bad
up
at all.
there, by the way, if you're in the military, call me about this one,
Okay.
and we can talk about your spread spectrum encrypted traffic on all the HF bands from just that antenna.
Yeah, this one. That's on top there right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
So that's sort of the fun stuff we're doing. Thanks for dropping by, though, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thanks for nerding out on antennas with me for
My pleasure.
probably
My
an hour and a
pleasure.
half yesterday and more today, and this video is 15 minutes long now, so yeah. He's cool, man. Go check out Alpha Antennas.